Hi Archers! Today we're going to be doing the rest of the chapter 11 guide, and that's with the mobs. If you're looking for the bosses specifically, I will link that in the description box below, but this one is just the mobs only. So a general tip for this chapter is to give yourself space to dodge or start a set by standing where there is more space. I will show you along in the video, but that's probably the biggest thing with chapter 11. This is not a live gameplay, by the way. This is actually just me recording over it because chapter 11 is very hard. I can't easily record it and play at the same time, so we'll be doing what we can with here. So these are the mages. These mages fire purple orbs. What I do with these purple mages is I tend to dodge their projectile right before it hits me. So when the projectile is coming, I will just move out of the way. There also is a fire mage as well. Oh, here we go. Here's a fire mage. With this mage, you have to watch the attack animation because it's really fast. I couldn't really quickly here because I'm getting good RNG, but he's very fast, so you have to watch his animation to make sure you can avoid his attack in time. I will also leave the abilities on the left here or the right, I'm not sure where yet if you haven't seen it, and then a bunch of tips for specific mobs. These mobs you come across before, they are the spawning blob mobs or whatever they're called. Just kill them as quick as you can. They're a bit tanky, and with the archers, with the red line, you just want to avoid it. Let the attack set in and then just walk out of the way. Anything with a red line in Archero so far, what you want to do is let the attack set in and then move away. You want to pick up front arrow here. I say that because those attacks, you don't want that red line to follow you. If you let that red line follow you, it's going to make it extremely difficult because you're going to zone out more areas on where you can run to or hide. So now we have the angel. We're just going to pick up attack boost minor here. But as you can see with these, do you see what I mean with these spaces here? Right now it's not a huge problem because we're not up against the really hard mobs. But I was between a smaller space there because the walls were closed in more. So I want to move a bit more towards spaces where there is more area. It makes it a lot easier for you. Oh, here we have the scythe mages. These mages are really hard. They throw out multiple, I think it's two. They throw out two scythes after each other and they bounce back and forth. It doesn't matter how many times they bounce because you only want to focus on the ones that are coming towards you and not where they are. So hiding in, like, see that little space on the walls there? Hiding in spaces like that can make it really hard because it can bounce back and forth to you and do a lot of damage. These scythe mages make this chapter a lot harder than it has to be. Because chapter 11 is just, it's so strongly based on, just like chapter 13, if any of you are watching for some reason that are on chapter 13, just like chapter 13, chapter 11 also relies on good RNG, otherwise it's going to be pretty difficult. I'm going to pick up Crit Master here. Now we have the dashing skeletons. So weapons with a strong knockback will help against those dashing skeletons. They are very fast. Once they start dashing towards you, it's just a continuous dash at times, which makes it really hard. So my biggest tip for the dashing skeletons is to try and stay as far away as possible as you can from them. And with any melee mob, you want to stand, if there's water between, like water on the map, try and stay on the other side of the water. So they will be on the other side. Basically, they can't reach you if you are on water. And I kind of just walk around those pretty much. Okay, so I would recommend not picking up freeze abilities for this chapter. You can pick up freeze abilities if you can adapt to that kind of playstyle, but freeze does mess up two of the mobs in this chapter, and we'll get to that once they come along. But yeah, pretty much with this chapter, it's very RNG focused, so you can beat it without good abilities. Oh, here we go. So the Medusa mobs, they are Medusas. They throw out 3 projectiles that spread out in your general direction, and it zones out a lot of the area. So what makes them really hard is that it zones out the area, which makes it less places where you can just move around freely. That paired up with the scythe mages makes it extremely difficult. And my biggest tip for those is, well, generally for this whole chapter, you basically want to watch your character or watch in front of you so you can focus on the projectiles you are trying to avoid. With the Medusa mobs, they are one of the mobs why I do not recommend picking up freeze abilities because they are synchronized. So the Medusa mobs will always fire at the same time. You want them to, like, be synchronized. Otherwise, it's going to make it difficult if they're just firing one after each other. Now you have the arrow mob. Just like the arrow archers, you just want to avoid the projectile when the red line sets in. Now we have the teleporting knights. So with these knights, what the attack pattern is they will do like an attack dash and then they will teleport. So they usually do one attack dash, so a melee dash, and then teleport. So every time you see that they're disappearing or vanishing, that means they're teleporting. And what you want to do is you want to walk out of the way into a different position because you don't want them to teleport on top of you. So the teleporting knights is another reason why I don't recommend freeze abilities, because they are also synchronized. You want to keep them synchronized as well, otherwise they're going to be teleporting one after each other, and that makes it a lot harder for you. As you can see, I'm moving away as they do their dash, then they teleport again. I'm going to move away again, and then they're going to do their dash, and then they're going to teleport, but I want to kill them here. So that is their attack pattern. They're pretty simple and straightforward. I don't mind them that much. They're not very hard. But it does force you to reposition in the game a lot, which can make it very difficult. So we're just going to kill the mobs here. So just remember the scythe mages, with the mages, you want to move out of their attack last, just before it hits you. With these attacks, you don't want any of them to follow you. So with the scythe mages, I try my best to just stay along the wall, on one wall, because when they follow you, it makes it so much harder. And with these mobs as well, I have Blazing Star here, which made everything so much more difficult. I hate Blazing Star. The star abilities just make everything so hard because you're confused, basically. Okay, we're nearly up to 30 here. Getting closer to the harder. So in this chapter, I think it's really hard around 30. As you can see, I'm not letting the attacks set in because I don't have time to let them set in because of the teleporting mobs. So, but luckily it's just a very long straight hallway, so it's not too bad. Okay, so as you can see here, this is where see how I'm like on the top row, because there is more space to dodge. If I was on the bottom near the door, it'd be so hard to dodge all those red scythe projectiles. So what I do is I go to the space where it's, the most, you are closer to the enemy that way, but it's easier to dodge things when you have more space to dodge. So if I was in that little small space, I would just get hit by everything. So with anything in Archero, when you can, if the mobs are tricky like the scythe mages, you want to take the place where it has the most space to dodge. If you wanted to, you could go a space higher and it would be easier, but it can also be a little bit more difficult because you're closer to the enemy that way. Okay, we're up to the next boss here. Remember, if you want to see the boss guides, the link in the description box below. I just picked up Multishot from the devil from the previous boss. With this chapter, I do recommend trying to get... So with this run, I actually didn't go very... As you can see, I have a lot of health because I did pick up a lot of HP boosts. So you're most likely going to get front arrow or multi-shot from the devil. So my strategy in chapter 11 was to try and get as many HP boosts as I can. I mean, invincibility and things like that are very useful for this chapter. I just tried to like prioritize HP boosts a bit more in places where I feel like I don't need it. So that's what I did this run. But usually, I think on my first run, I did not do that. But yeah, I was really lucky with the RNG here. I did get multi-shot from the devil, and I got front arrow, I think, not from the devil, but from the actual RNG. Ricochet is really good for this chapter as well, which is very much needed. A strategy that I have tried to do, while I'm just killing everything here. So the strategy that I have tried to do is I've tried to pick up Ricochet over multi-shot and front arrow. Now this is really risky to do because Ricochet pops up more often than multi-shot and front arrow, I think. I'm not too sure what the chance is, but I've seen Ricochet more often than... No, sorry. Ricochet doesn't pop up with the devil. That scratch everything I just said. I got it mixed up with my words. Ricochet does not pop up with the devil. Because front arrow and multi-shot do pop up with the devil, this is why I pick up Ricochet over multi-shot and front arrow, so then I can try my chances at picking up multi-shot and finds arrow from the devil. That's a strategy you can do if you want to risk it, but other than that, that's the prime 3 abilities you should have for this chapter if you want the best chance at beating that is multi-shot, finds arrow, ricochet. Rage, of course, if you're not using helix, but rage is also extremely hard to come by. Up to the final stretch here. This is the last 10 levels we have to finish with before we get to the end boss. Now, this footage here, I did not beat the chapter here, but I did beat all the mobs very well because of my good RNG, and I applied some strategies that I figured out over time. But you're gonna see me die to the end boss here very sadly. However, this chapter is very difficult. I cannot easily just keep doing it again like other chapters, like previous chapters I was able to. I have tried multiple times to do a live gameplay of finishing this chapter, but it's very hard. So general tips is to just watch your character, watch in front of your character as well for the scythe mages because it gives you more time, because you have to dodge multiple of them, it gives you better time. Hide behind walls when you can, and try and give yourself the most space on the map. So like I said before, as an example, that long line thing with the walls on the side, try and don't stay in the little small corners, the little small spaces. That makes everything so much harder. I know a lot of people are stuck in chapter 11, and I can promise you it does take some time, but you will beat it. It's not, I would say it's not as hard as chapter 7 pre-nerf for anyone that was there before, because I was stuck on that chapter for like 2 months. This one was, if you learn the strategies, if you practice the strategies that I've told you, you should be able to beat it. And also, chapter 13 is actually ridiculous. So for anyone who's going to get up to that soon, the tentacle mobs on that are just ridiculous. But yeah. We're nearly up to the end here, and so far, I don't know, I really hope I can't even imagine how this, like, I was not on this chapter before it got nerfed, because this chapter did get nerfed. Oh, so sorry, just for here, this was really hard. So I had invincibility, which really helped, but as you can see, I'm getting, this one's really, really hard, this level, because if you don't have the damage for it, you might die really quickly, because there's so many scythe mages. Invincibility is a must-have if you struggle with levels like that. When the scythe mages are next to you, oh my gosh, it makes everything so hard. You have to kill them really quickly. If you don't kill them quickly, then it's really hard to dodge all the scythe projectiles. But yeah, that is all for the mob guide. I hope this has helped you in some way. If you need any more help with any of the mobs, please feel free to leave any of your questions in the comments down below. I will try to answer all of them. If there are many, I will try to get back to you as well. I thank you guys so much, as always, for supporting my videos. Please feel free to subscribe and click the bell if you're new to the channel. Any likes and comments would be super rad. I hope to see you again for the next video. Bye!